Now, when I was younger, I was quite racist. I had an outlook on life that was purely individualistic. No groups, no coming together, just individualism. Everyone responsible for what happens to them. But it is very useful to see how the government manipulated the black community in the 60s and the 70s in order to make them as divided as possible. They had Malcolm X come along. He was assassinated. He called for segregation. He wanted separation. He wanted blacks and whites not to interact so there would be no conflict. Martin Luther King had that. He had that view for a while until the FBI threatened his family, and then he picked up a much more kosher, no pun intended, but a much more milquetoast view of, hey, everybody just get along, to pacify everyone. Now, he was killed too. Now, the most intelligent amongst African Americans would look at these two examples and come to a very simple conclusion. We are not allowed to have leaders. We are not allowed to represent each other or ourselves. If we react with violence, we will be killed. If we react by appeasing, we will be killed. And the worst part, the most interesting part, and the one that I want you to remember, is the way that the people who manipulated Martin Luther King then adopted him as their own symbol. Not only did they kill Martin Luther King, but they took him, cut out the words that they didn't like so much, and they used him as their own symbol. The same exact thing is happening with Charlie Kirk right now with Netanyahu. Netanyahu going around and saying, oh, Charlie Kirk was just an emblem, a symbol of Judeo-Christian values. He was nothing better. There was no better friend than Charlie Kirk. No better friend to Israel. So now I know how African Americans feel watching what they did to MLK and what they molded his image into. Likewise, they also do that. Netanyahu also does this with Jesus. Oh, well, Jesus was Jewish, don't you know? That is a pretty generous paraphrasing of the New Testament. It is not enough for them to remove the competition. They have to mold them and destroy their identities. And that, in a sort of way, is just destroying the soul. So if you sell your soul and say one thing that you don't agree with, that one thing may be the only thing that they allow to survive into posterity.